Welcome to your deep dive into AI safety. We've got challenges in AI safety right here, and we're going to unearth the most important takeaways. Think of it as your fast track to understanding AI safety, but much more interesting than reading a textbook.
Exactly. We'll break down the complicated world of AI risks, looking closely at the ethical issues and exploring possible solutions. Get ready to be informed, maybe a little uneasy, and definitely ready to join this vital conversation.
Okay, so let's dive right in. This book, it doesn't waste any time. It jumps right into the many potential problems with AI, categorizing them as like technical, societal, and the one that really gets you thinking existential risks.
Yeah, it really gets to the point, highlighting how many issues there could be. It emphasizes that this isn't just a theoretical discussion. We're seeing these problems pop up in real life, and sometimes the consequences are serious.
And that's what I found so interesting. It really goes deep into things like the compass algorithm. It's used in the U.S. justice system, to try and predict if someone will commit another crime. What really struck me was the case of Brisha Borden. She was just a teenager, first offense, but the algorithm labeled her as high risk. But get this, a man with a history of violent crimes was labeled low risk. Both ended up getting arrested again. This is just crazy, right? The differences in their initial assessments really show how bias can have a huge impact on people's lives.
It's a real wake-up call. The data we use to train these algorithms can carry existing societal biases and even make them worse. If the data itself reflects past injustices, then the AI system is going to learn and possibly even strengthen those biases, and that leads to unfair outcomes.
That's what's so worrying. It's not like there's some evil intention, but these seemingly neutral algorithms can end up continuing harmful patterns. So it makes me wonder, are we even capable of spotting all the potential biases hidden in these systems?
That's the million-dollar question. And the book explores ways to lessen bias. Things like checking algorithms for fairness and using more diverse data. But it also stresses that technology alone isn't the answer. We need to tackle the social and systemic issues that lead to these biases in the first place.
It feels like we're constantly trying to catch up. We're
Yeah.
trying to anticipate and address biases that we might not even fully realize are there. It makes it clear that we need diverse voices and perspectives in AI development.
Absolutely. And that leads us to another key point. The book explores data, privacy, and security. I mean, think about it. We're producing a massive amount of data, and AI relies on this information, but the book doesn't shy away from the potential for misuse.
I hadn't really thought about it much before reading this book, but the examples of data misuse are everywhere. Those personality quizzes on social media, they seem harmless, right? But they're collecting data about you, your personality, what you like, even your fears. They use it for advertising, sure, but what about more, I don't know, shady uses?
It's a slippery slope. This data could be used to manipulate what we think, predict what we'll do, and even discriminate against us, like when we apply for insurance or loans. The book argues that we need strong regulations to protect our data and make sure it's being used responsibly.
But regulations are often slow to keep up with how fast technology is changing. It seems like we need a whole new way of thinking about data privacy, both as individuals and as a society.
I agree. It's about creating a culture where people are aware of data and demanding more transparency from the companies that collect and use our data.
Okay, so we've talked about bias and data privacy, two really big risks. But this book also goes into the world of autonomous systems. I'm a bit of a tech geek myself, and this stuff is fascinating, but it also gets a bit like a sci-fi thriller.
It does. Self-driving cars, robotic surgery, AI-powered weapon systems, these technologies are evolving fast, but the book raises some serious questions about accountability.
Like, imagine a self-driving car malfunctions and causes an accident. Who's responsible? The person in the car, the company that made it, the people who wrote the software. It's uncharted territory, and the legal and ethical side of things is incredibly complicated.
The book makes it clear that we need clear rules and regulations before these technologies become even more common. We need to figure out who's responsible for the decisions and actions of AI systems, especially when those actions have potentially life-changing consequences.
It's not just about pointing fingers. It's about making sure these systems are designed and used in a way that prioritizes safety and minimizes the chance of harm. It feels like a huge responsibility, not just for the people developing them, but for policymakers and everyone, really.
Absolutely. And this brings us to another crucial aspect the book explores: the ethics of how AI makes decisions. As AI systems get more advanced, they're being given more and more responsibility for making decisions that have a huge impact on our lives.
Take the hiring process, for example. Some companies are using AI to go through resumes and conduct initial interviews. It's supposed to make the process more efficient and get rid of bias. But what if the algorithm consistently overlooks qualified candidates from certain backgrounds? How do we make sure these systems are genuinely fair and impartial?
It's a tough question, and the book emphasizes the need to really think about the ethical implications of AI decision making. It's not enough to just rely on algorithms. We need human oversight, proper testing, and constant evaluation to make sure AI is being used ethically and responsibly.
It's almost like we're trying to teach these systems to be ethical, to understand and uphold human values. And that's a pretty big challenge, wouldn't you say?
It is. It forces us to grapple with fundamental questions about what it means to be ethical, what values are most important to us, and how we can translate those values into a language that AI systems can grasp.
I think what stands out about this book is that it doesn't try to give easy answers. Instead, it lays out the challenges, encourages us to think critically, and prompts us to engage in these complicated conversations.
Exactly. It's a call to action, a reminder that we're not just along for the ride when it comes to the future of AI. It's something we're actively shaping through the choices we make today. And that responsibility, it goes way beyond just one country. The book emphasizes that AI, it's a global issue, and we need international cooperation to tackle these complex challenges we've been talking about.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, AI doesn't stop at borders, right? Algorithms can be made in one place, trained on data from another, and
Yeah.
used all over the world. It really highlights the need for a coordinated effort.
Exactly. The book dives into all the intricacies of global AI governance. It explores things like setting international standards, encouraging collaboration, and promoting responsible AI development worldwide.
One thing that really stood out to me was the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence, or GPAI for short. It's this big initiative bringing together countries, companies, and organizations to address the ethical, governance, and technical challenges of AI. It seems like a good step, but I wonder how effective these collaborations can really be. I mean, different actors have different priorities and perspectives.
It's a tricky situation, that's for sure. And the book acknowledges the challenges in reaching a global consensus. You have geopolitical tensions, conflicting economic interests, and different cultural values, all of which can make it hard to cooperate effectively.
It's almost like herding cats, right? But the book makes a strong case for why this effort is so important. If we don't have international collaboration, we risk ending up with a fragmented, maybe even dangerous AI landscape. Different countries developing and deploying AI without much consideration for the bigger picture.
That's right. It's in everyone's best interest to find common ground, share what works, and work together to ensure AI benefits all of humanity.
Speaking of those developing AI, the book takes a hard look at the role of those big tech giants, the ones shaping this technology's future. Some companies are making progress in AI safety and ethics, but, I can't shake this feeling of skepticism. Are they really sincere, or is this just a way to protect their reputation?
It's a valid concern. The book looks at both the positive steps and the limitations of industry-led initiatives. It points to examples like Google's AI principles, Microsoft's responsible AI program, and OpenAI's charter. All of them lay out ethical guidelines and commitments.
But how do we ensure these commitments actually lead to real change? Are these companies truly willing to prioritize ethical considerations, even if it means less profit? And how do we hold them accountable when things go wrong?
The book stresses the need for accountability, both from within the companies and from external forces. Internally, it suggests having strong ethical review boards within companies, made up of experts from different fields who can provide independent oversight and challenge potentially harmful applications of AI.
That makes sense. It's like having those critical voices right there in the company, pushing back against the pressure to put profits above ethical considerations. But what about external accountability?
Externally, the book highlights the importance of independent audits, regulatory oversight, and public scrutiny. It argues that companies should be transparent about their AI development process, how they collect data, and how their algorithms make decisions. This would allow for greater accountability and give the public the power to hold them responsible for the impact their technologies have on society.
I like that idea, empowering the public. After all, we're the ones who will ultimately be affected by these technologies. But how do we make sure people have the knowledge and tools to engage in meaningful scrutiny? I think this is where the book's emphasis on public education really resonated with me.
Absolutely. It's not enough to just rely on experts and policymakers to deal with AI's challenges. We need a public that's informed and engaged, one that understands the potential benefits and risks of AI, can critically assess claims made about AI, and can demand responsible development and deployment.
It's about fostering what the book calls AI literacy. But AI can be so complex. How do we effectively explain these concepts to a wider audience? The book's suggestions for engaging with communities were really interesting.
Yes, it emphasizes making AI education accessible and engaging. It suggests things like clear explanations without all the technical jargon, using visuals and storytelling creatively, and creating interactive experiences that allow people to explore AI concepts firsthand. It also stresses the need to reach diverse audiences by tailoring approaches.
I see. A one-size-fits-all approach won't work. We need to consider the specific concerns and interests of different communities and tailor our communication accordingly.
Precisely. And it's not just about conveying technical information, it's about encouraging critical thinking, prompting people to ask questions, and fostering a sense of ownership over AI's future.
That idea of ownership is so important. We can't just passively accept whatever AI technologies are developed and deployed. We need to be actively involved in shaping a future where AI aligns with our values and serves the best interests of humanity.
Absolutely. And that brings us to what's perhaps the most fascinating and potentially the most daunting aspect of AI, artificial general intelligence, or AGI.
Okay, now we're getting into science fiction territory, right?
Yeah.
AI systems with human level or even superhuman intelligence.
hmm
The book really explores the potential implications of such a development, both the good and the bad.
It's something that sparks our imaginations and fuels our anxieties. The book acknowledges the allure of AGI's potential, the possibility of solving those really complex problems, unlocking incredible scientific breakthroughs, and creating a world of abundance. But it's also realistic about the potential risks.
And those risks, they're pretty significant, aren't they?
Yeah.
The book explores situations where AGI systems with their potentially vast intelligence and capabilities could actually pose a threat to humanity, whether intentionally or not.
It's a valid concern, and the book dives into strategies for mitigating those risks. Things like aligning AI values with human values, building in robust safety mechanisms, and creating careful governance frameworks.
Let's unpack those strategies a little. Value alignment, if I understand it correctly, is about making sure that AGI systems are designed to share our values, understand our goals, and act in a way that benefits humanity.
Mm.
But how do we actually teach a superintelligent machine what we value?
It's one of the most fundamental challenges in AI safety research. The book explores different approaches, including something called inverse reinforcement learning. It's where AI systems learn by watching human behavior and trying to figure out our preferences. But the book also acknowledges the limitations of this approach.
Right, because how do we guarantee that the AI is observing a wide range of human behaviors and values, not just a limited perspective? And how do we prevent the AI from picking up on our biases or harmful tendencies?
It's complicated, and the book stresses the need for continuous research and development of new techniques to ensure AGI systems are truly aligned with human values.
And then there's the issue of safety mechanisms. Even if we manage to align an AGI system with our values, how do we prevent unexpected consequences or unintentional actions? It's like trying to think ahead and predict every possible move a chess grandmaster might make.
Exactly. The book explores concepts like boxing, where AGI systems are kept in controlled environments to limit their interaction with the real world and prevent them from causing harm. It also discusses the development of kill switches or other ways to safely shut down AGI systems if they start behaving dangerously or unpredictably.
These ideas sound like something straight out of science fiction. But the book argues that we need to be thinking about these things now, before AGI becomes a reality.
Absolutely. It's about proactive risk management, anticipating potential problems, and coming up with solutions before we're faced with a crisis.
And this is where the book's emphasis on responsible governance is really important. It's not just about technical solutions, but about creating ethical frameworks, international agreements, and regulatory oversight to ensure that AGI development and deployment are done carefully and responsibly.
It's about having clear guidelines for AGI research, defining ethical boundaries, and creating ways for international cooperation and monitoring. This will help prevent a potential AGI arms race or the reckless pursuit of this technology without proper safeguards.
It's a big task, but the book argues that the stakes are too high to ignore. The potential benefits of AGI are huge, but so are the risks. We need to proceed with both caution and ambition, realizing that the decisions we make now will determine the future of AI and its impact on all of us.
It's a call for everyone to work together. It's a reminder that we all play a role in ensuring that AI, in all its forms, is developed and used to benefit humanity, protect our values, and create a future we can all be proud of.
Yeah, it really is a call to action. This book doesn't try to hide the challenges, but it also leaves you with a feeling of hope. It talks about these really innovative research initiatives that are trying to make AI safer, more transparent, and ultimately more beneficial for humanity.
Exactly. Challenges in AI safety dedicates a lot of space to exploring the newest advancements in AI safety research. It goes into exciting developments like explainable AI, XAI, which aims to make it easier for us to understand how AI makes decisions.
This is where it gets super interesting for me. We've talked about those black box algorithms, right? They make decisions, but we don't always know why. It's almost like trusting a magic 8 ball to make important choices. XAI is like, well, it's like opening up that magic 8 ball and seeing how it actually works.
That's a great analogy. Imagine an AI system denying someone a loan. Without XAI, that person is left in the dark, not knowing why they were rejected. XAI is about providing that transparency, showing what factors led to the decision, and maybe even highlighting biases or errors in the algorithm.
It seems really important for building trust, not just in individual AI systems, but in the whole field. If we can understand how these systems work, we're more likely to accept their decisions even when they don't go our way.
Absolutely. And XAI isn't the only area with exciting research. The book also highlights advancements in making AI systems more robust. That means making them better at handling errors, unexpected inputs, and even attempts to manipulate them. Take self-driving cars, for example. We need to ensure they can deal with any situation, whether it's bad weather or hackers trying to take control.
It makes me think about the difference between the lab and the real world. In a lab, everything is controlled. But when AI is out in the real world, it encounters all sorts of unexpected challenges. Robustness research is about bridging that gap, making these systems truly reliable.
And we can't forget about fairness. The book talks about ongoing research into ways to detect and reduce bias in algorithms, from cleaning up the data to designing algorithms with fairness baked in from the start.
It's encouraging to see so much effort going into these areas. It feels like the AI community is acknowledging the potential problems and actively working to solve them. But the book also makes it clear, technology alone isn't the answer. We need change in how we approach AI development, one that puts ethics and human well-being first right from the beginning.
I totally agree. The book suggests a more well-rounded approach, one that includes thinking about ethical implications, assessing the impact on society, and having ongoing conversations with people from different backgrounds throughout the entire process of developing AI.
So it's about moving beyond just focusing on technical progress and adopting a wider view, one that takes into account the potential consequences, both good and bad, of the technologies we create. It's about responsibility, accountability, and making sure that AI helps humanity, not harms it.
It's about remembering that AI is a tool, a very powerful tool, but a tool nonetheless. And just like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. It's up to us, all of us, to guide its development and make sure its potential is used to improve society.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into AI safety, what's the main takeaway you want our listeners to leave with?
I hope they come away with a better understanding of just how complex AI safety is. It's not just about stopping robots from taking over the world. It's about tackling those everyday risks, the ethical challenges, and the impact on society that we've discussed. It's about being informed, engaged, and ready to participate in shaping the future of AI.
It's about understanding that the future of AI isn't set in stone. We're actively shaping it with the decisions we make today. And that's both a huge responsibility and an amazing opportunity. We have the power to shape this technology, guide how it develops, and ensure it's used for the right reasons.
Exactly. So to our listener, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep these conversations going. The future of AI is in our hands.
That's a great way to end it. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into AI safety. We hope it's made you curious and ready to engage in this really important conversation.